Hello all, so we're gonna finally wrap up on our last two planets in our solar system. Remember, we have 8 planets in our solar system. The first 4 are made of rock and metal, and the last 4 are our gas giants, and they're made of big clouds of gas and liquid. So our last 2 planets are, let me make sure these are the right ones. I believe this is Uranus and Neptune. I think those are right. They're very close and similar in how they look, right? They're both blue. So our last 2 are, I might have mixed those up. Where is my pointer? My last 2 are Uranus and Neptune. So Uranus is the 7th planet and Neptune is the 8th. So let's review real quick, and we'll review at the end too. So here's our sun, and our first planet closest to the sun is Mercury, which is the smallest planet, Mercury. Second, we have Venus, which is the biggest planet in our solar system. Third is Earth, which is the one we live on, which is the only planet with any living things on it. Fourth, we have Mars, which is the red planet, the biggest volcano in our solar system. Then we have our biggest planet in the solar system, Jupiter, with its red spot that is a big storm on it, remember. Then we have our 6th planet, which is Saturn, which is known mostly for its rings around it. And then next is Uranus and then Neptune. So I'm going to read my story first, and then we'll talk about the planets. All right, so it's called planets. This is the sun shining so bright, giving us the energy of heat and light. And then it's a little flappy here. Here is Mercury, right? Next is Mercury, catching sun's rays. It has cold, cold nights and hot, hot days. And it circles the sun that shines so bright, giving us the energy of heat and light. And then next is Venus. It's followed by Venus, cloudy and dry, the brightest planet in the nighttime sky. Right after Mercury, catching sun's rays, it has cold, cold nights and hot, hot days. Next is Earth. This is our home, our planet, our Earth, the cradle of life, the place of our birth. Lined up behind Venus, cloudy and dry, the brightest planet in the nighttime sky. Next is our red planet. This is Mars with its dry iron crust. It glows in the sky, the color of rust. Poised after home, our planet, our Earth, the cradle of life, the place of our birth. So next is our biggest planet, which is Jupiter. Giant Jupiter, swirling and hot, is a ball of gas with a great red spot, which is after Mars with its dry iron crust. It glows in the sky, the color of rust. So the giant red spot. Then next is the one with rings, Saturn. Next comes Saturn with its beautiful rings, spinning through space on circular wings, which falls behind Jupiter, swirling and hot, a ball of gas with a giant, great red spot. It's called the Great Red Spot. Now our new planet, our new planet, Uranus. Uranus is a planet tipped on its side, circling the sun on a lopsided ride. Right after Saturn with its beautiful rings, spinning through space on circular wings. Lastly, here is Neptune traveling through space, trading places with Pluto in a celestial race, which comes after Uranus tipped on its side, circling the sun on a lopsided ride. Pluto, alas, is not a planet after all, a dark dwarf planet, a distant ice ball. Following Neptune, traveling through space, trading places with Pluto in a celestial space. The end. So there are our 8 planets in the solar system. So next we have Uranus. So I'm pretty sure this one's Uranus. So it's said in the story that it goes on a lopsided ride because it's on its side. So all the other planets, when they spin, trying to look for one of my planets. All the planets spin the right side up. So here's Saturn, right? And they spin like this. And here is Uranus, but it spins on its side, so it spins like this instead. So it doesn't spin right side up, it spins on its side like that. So that's what it means when it's on a lopsided ride. So Uranus is our 7th planet from the sun. It's our 3rd gas giant, right? Here is Uranus from space. Here's a picture of Uranus from space. Remember we said Saturn is the last space we can see with the telescope. So they had to use all those scientists in NASA were able to get a picture of Uranus from space. And look, it has rings. The rings don't quite necessarily look like Saturn's rings, but it has rings around it. So Uranus, it has rings around it. It's the 3rd biggest planet. It's the 7th planet from the sun. So let's put our number 7. 7th planet from the sun. It spins on its side. It's a gas giant, remember, so it's made of big clouds of gas and liquid, so it has no solid surface, no spaceships can land on it. It's a greenish blue color, and it has 11 thin rings. So there's its 11 thin rings, and sometimes you can't see it. And it's the coldest planet, and it has a frozen center, so the middle of it is frozen. It's an ice giant, and it has over 27 moons, and it has no air or water, so people cannot live on it. So that's Uranus. And our last planet in our solar system, the furthest one from the sun, the 8th planet from the sun is Neptune. And Neptune, here's a picture of Neptune from space, and it's blue, it's big and blue. It's the 4th biggest planet. It does not orbit the sun. So all the other planets orbit the sun, but Neptune does not orbit the sun. It's a gas giant, so it's made of big clouds of gas and liquid. So no solid surface, no spaceship can land on it. It's surrounded by blue clouds and dark rings, but we can't really see the rings, so you can't really see its rings there. It has over 13 moons. And it's very cold, and think about it, it's the furthest from the sun, so that's why it's very cold, because it doesn't really see the sun. So it's very, very, very cold. It's the windiest planet, and it has a great dark spot, which you can't really tell on this one, but you can here, so that must be its great dark spot, and that's also a big storm on it. So maybe if it's the windiest planet, maybe it's a big windstorm. And it has the 6 rings that you sometimes can't see, and it's made of dust and rock. The rings are made of dust and rock, and there's no air or water on it, so people can't live on it. So our last 2 planets are Uranus, which is the 7th planet, and it spins on its side. It's the coldest planet. And then we have Neptune, which is the 8th planet from the sun. Think about it, it's probably very cold because it's so far from the sun. It has a big, great dark spot that we can't see, which we're probably gonna say is a big windy storm, and it's the windiest planet. So let's count down real quick from our planets. So here's our sun. We have Mercury, the smallest planet. Venus, our brightest planet in the solar system. Earth, where we live, Earth, our home, the big blue marble in space. Mars, which is the red planet, a big volcano. Jupiter, our biggest planet with the great red spot. Saturn, our 6th planet with its rings made of ice and rock. Then we have Uranus, which spins on its side, and it's very, very, very cold, and it has rings around it. And last but not least is Neptune, which is the windiest planet, and it's the furthest from the sun, so it's probably very cold there. All right, so that's it. That's a wrap up of all of our planets, and I hope you enjoyed it. I love always talking about the planets. Space is one of my favorite things to teach and learn about, so I hope you enjoyed it too.